Hey, it's your editor Allison here, and before this episode starts, I just want to apologize for any bad audio on my end for the first 6 minutes of this podcast. I was recording with the wrong microphone for that period of time. We did re-record the intro, but other than that, I did talk once or twice where the audio was pretty bad, so just keep that in mind. And without further ado, enjoy the podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Dlsone podcast. I'm Adam from the Rubik's Cubed.
And I'm Daniel Goodman, or DG Cubes.
I'm Avocado, or #Cuber.
I'm Allison Lee, or the Programming Cuber.
All right, so today we'll be discussing some new topics, and they include starting a new YouTube cubing channel, and then we'll be playing a new game called Who Did What, and you'll see how that works in a bit. And then we'll be doing our series from last time, Cubing in the News, and then we'll have an announcement as far as what guests we'll have on in the future, so that's going to be very exciting. So let's get started here.
So, we are going to be giving out some tips for starting a new YouTube channel. Now, all of us are YouTube Cubers, and we all get a lot of comments every day asking, what can I do to start a new YouTube channel? And so, we have written down some tips on the show notes. They're all there, but we're going to read them and explain them further. So, we're going to start with 3 things that you shouldn't do. The first thing is, please, please, please do not ask for shoutouts on other YouTube channels. The main problem that people have with asking for shoutouts is that, first of all, or if you're asking for people to subscribe to you on other channels, it's not really respectful to the people who made their channels what they are. And also, people really don't give shoutouts that often, to be quite honest. And it's just kind of, I don't know. Do you guys want to help me elaborate on this?
Yeah. Overall, it's not. DG is absolutely right. It's definitely not respectful to that person, but also it's not effective at all. I mean, if anything, you're gonna get hate because of that. You're not gonna get subscribers from that. So even if you don't think it's disrespectful, at least realize that it's not gonna get you any subscribers. So the best thing to probably do is just to focus on your content and making it better. Marketing is something that's kind of important, but you shouldn't do it through asking for subscribers on people's channels. You should do it by creating good content or something good that people want to share. So there's a difference between advertising, self-advertising, and somebody sharing something that you made.
Yeah, on that note, as cubing channels, as compared to other channels like gaming, cubing channels grow really fast, and you get noticed really fast. Like small channels, if you're making good content, people will notice you like that, and you'll start picking up subscribers really fast for cubing. For a lot of other channels, maybe not, like gaming and stuff, it's really tough for them. But for cubing,
it's
actually pretty easy, comparatively.
Yes, yeah. Exactly
Also,
the word I was thinking of.
Also, 99 out of 100 times, they're not going to give you a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. People just really don't do it. But also, the thing is, wait, can I add something to that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so what Adam was saying and how we were saying, it's really not effective to ask for shoutouts. Marketing, like Adam said, is important. So something that you can do, I'm not going to say you need to do this because, it's not something you should do for every one of your videos, but if you make a video that you're particularly proud of and you feel like it's not getting the recognition that you think it deserves, I mean, there are forums out there that you can share it on, cubing-wise. And, a lot of times people put videos on there that I otherwise wouldn't have seen, and then it's like, oh, wow, that's a really cool video, and then maybe I subscribe to that channel or something. So don't do it for every video, because then it just gets annoying, and they might block you or ban you from the forums. But if you have a good video, you can put it up there, and, they won't hate you too much. So
yeah, I think that's a very good idea. I think a general rule of thumb is if in real life you were to walk up to somebody and try to start a conversation, if it's something you wouldn't say in real life, like, hey, go subscribe to me, you wouldn't really see that in real life. That would be really awkward, self-advertising in front of somebody. If you wouldn't say it in real life, it's generally you shouldn't do that thing. It's it's okay to go up to somebody in real life and say, hey, have you heard about this? And then try to explain it to them, right? So that's what basically what DG said about posting on a forum is why that's all right, because it's basically like starting a conversation, So I think it's perfectly fine to do that. Don't do it too much, but I mean, if you feel like you need some more recognition, that's definitely a good thing. Also, in the beginning, it can be difficult to be noticed, and a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but I felt that I was talking to a wall in certain ways in the beginning of my YouTube channel.
Oh, totally.
You're like, what, why am I doing this? Like, there's nobody watching, you know, that kind of thing. So what you should be doing is the reason you should start YouTube is only for your enjoyment. I mean, if you're looking to make money, that's not something that's going to happen. Nobody makes a living unless you have hundreds of millions of subscribers. So hundreds of thousands
millions,
of subscribers.
what?
Hundreds
No. Only if you have millions. Only if you have like millions of subscribers, you're probably gonna make a living. But that's about it.
100,000
Yeah,
is 2
yeah.
millions.
So,
But
so like, you shouldn't be focused on the money. You should do it for your enjoyment. So in the beginning, if you're having trouble with finding a reason to make your videos, then maybe focus on trying to make them better. That's always something that is enjoyable, and then eventually over time that'll help you to gain some recognition as well.
Yeah, and just one more thing that I think, like Adam was saying, he felt like he was talking to a wall a lot of times. For me, I kind of felt I didn't have that many subscribers for a really long time. Like, for my first, like, it took me over a year and a half to hit 500 subscribers. And, you know, I thought 500 was a lot, and it is, like, pretty respectable. But it took me a very long time, and for a long time I was stuck, like, under 100. So what I recommend really is feel like, you know, you do have some subscribers, unless you've just started, like, you know, very recently. But if you have some subscribers, you're not really talking to a wall. You know, there are some people watching you. You might not be as big as some people, like, you know, Crazy Bad Cuber or Red KB or people like that. But, you know, there are people who chose to subscribe. So, you know, make that more of a motivation for you to keep uploading.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a good note. Does anybody have anything else? And otherwise, we'll move on. All right, so moving on here.
Can I start the next one? Oh, can I do the 3 don'ts, and then you guys can do the, like, start the rest and stuff?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so the next tip we have for how to start a new cubing channel is don't be an XY cuber. Now, if you don't know what I mean by an XY cuber, pretty much a lot of people, I think it started with JR Cuber, started doing their initials and then cuber. And I'm a victim of this. I'm DG Cubes, so I know I'm quite a hypocrite here, but I mean, mine is cubes, so there's that, but don't do that either, because a lot of people are doing their initials and then cuber, or cubes, or cubing, or, I don't know, anything, and it's really not that good, because if you don't know the person and you don't actually know their name, it's really hard, because those 2 letters are just 2 completely random letters for you to remember. So, like, if you tell somebody, oh yeah, my channel is, XD, that's easy, XF Cuber, and then, they go home later, like, say I was at a competition or something, they go home and search for you, and they're like, I don't remember what that was. Like, mental test, see if you can remember what that was by the end of this podcast. You probably can't. And so,
yeah.
That's why you shouldn't do it. It's not memorable, everybody's doing it, and there are, like, 10 JS Cubers out there already, because, you know, like, John Smith, so... So it's really not that good to do. It's not a good, I shouldn't say habit, because it's something you do once, but it's not something you want to get into. It's really hard to grow with one of those channels at this point.
Pick a good username, because that's what you're going to use, like, the rest of your YouTube career.
Yeah, definitely. I think going back to, like, the marketing thing that I was saying before, a general rule of thumb when you're making a YouTube channel in the start is that you want to make it so that people will remember you. So have an interesting bio, have an interesting username, have an interesting avatar. Like, try to make it something that not necessarily
stands out.
Yeah, not necessarily has to be artistic, and, like, you have to be, like, a super designer or whatever to make it, but you just have to do something unique, you know? Something that's yours.
Yeah. Okay, so now the last don't we have for what you shouldn't do when you're making a new cubing channel, and this is just YouTube in general. We kind of already touched on this, but don't just be in it for the money. You should make videos because you enjoy making videos, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I have almost 10k subscribers. Probably by the time this video or this podcast is out, I'll already have 10k, and, like, we're all over, what, 4,000, so you really don't get a ton of money, so you shouldn't be in it for that. Like, it's a nice bonus, but if you don't like making videos, then you're really not gonna be happy doing it, and it does take a while to even get to the point where you can make money off your YouTube channel, so don't be in it for that. Just do it because you enjoy it, and because you enjoy cubing and YouTubing and all that stuff.
Okay, so going off what DG said about the money making, and how it's not that much. Just to prove it to you, I mean, most of us in this group are around that age where we're soon going to be starting to look for jobs. And on the scale of like making money job-wise, YouTube is nothing near a job. Maybe like 6 months of YouTube will go to like half a week of a job, and even at like minimum wage. So if you think you're gonna be making like $100 a week on YouTube, you're not gonna be doing that until you have like 100,000 subscribers. So you shouldn't have that picture in your head. So it shouldn't even be a thought when you start YouTube at all. Like if it is a thought, like you should try to like shake it, because it's not gonna happen. Unfortunately, I don't like to say it like that, but it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, honestly, in the beginning, I don't know if I even knew you could make money on YouTube. And once I figured it out, like, it took me a couple months to make my first $1. So, Yeah. It pays pretty dang well, if you ask me. Sarcasm.
Oh, yeah. So the first thing that's not a don't, but is a tip.
Chairman's tip.
What? That's not a don't, but is...
Allison, just say it. Here's our first tip.
Here's the first tip. It's find good lighting. So a lot of people underestimate lighting, and they think you just have to go for like the best camera. Like you want to get like a top-notch $3,000 DSLR. But I think Chris Olsen actually did some kind of test on this. I forget whether it was a video on YouTube or in the seminar. But he was showing the difference between using like a high-end DSLR in really bad lighting and like an iPhone camera in really good lighting. And the iPhone like actually looked better than the DSLR. So a lot of people, like I said, underestimate lighting. And one of the ways you can get really easy lighting, like cheap lighting, literally free lighting, is natural lighting.
Yes,
like
and it's the
go
best.
out, like either go next to a window is really nice. I film right next to a window, although I don't use natural all the time, but I used to. And also, if you know Oscar Van Deventer, you probably know him. He films just completely outside, and you could totally do that on like a nice day in the summer. Like just go outside and film directly outside. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or like a December, like this December, where it's 70 degrees in mid-December.
Yeah. So I actually started out with just a cheap webcam and a window, and I've upgraded to my phone, and I have no plans of getting a camera anytime soon. My phone is perfectly fine. I have one lamp set up, and that's it, and a light overhead in my setup. And unfortunately, I don't have a window near my area, but that was one of the things I was looking for. And it's definitely a good thing to have if you don't have a lamp lying around. I don't think it's worth your money going out and buying a lamp for lighting. Just try to find a window. I mean, it's you don't need to have a recording setup when you first start. It's something that you should build up to.
Is Chris Olsen gonna hate you for saying that?
Is he?
No. He was talking about lamps in one of his videos once and saying they're cheap or whatever. Nah, he's not gonna.
Yeah,
no. He's not gonna hate you.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
I think what he was trying to say is that people, like, everybody has a lamp, right? Like most people have a lamp lying around. So if you grab a lamp and use it, that's perfect, you know. But I'm just saying in general, don't go and buy like a $10 or $20 lamp just for a video. Like there's no point in that.
Yeah. That's true.
You have a window.
Speaking of lamps, if you do have a lamp lying around, not every lamp is gonna work for videos, especially cubing. So turn on your lamp, and if that lamp makes everything in your entire setup yellow, please do not use it.
Yes, no yellow, please.
If your lamp is white light, then yes, use it, because white light is perfect, especially for cubing, because you have a really nice balance in colors. But don't use a red light, don't use a yellow light, especially not yellow. Like, okay, you're not going to use a red light, that's stupid. But some lights are yellow. Lights are yellow.
I just have this red lamp lying around.
Don't use mahogany lights. I hate those.
Yeah, no periwinkle
I have
either.
this
Those
flamingo
are awful.
lamp lying around.
Flamingo, what?
Yeah, so don't use yellow, because there's a lot of yellow lamps out there, and they look fine in real life, but on video, they make everything gross. It's horrible.
And all you have to do is just do some research. I mean, the light bulb will say on the package if it's white or yellow, and it may be like cryptic, But if you do your research and figure out what all the the weird code stuff on the packaging means, then you'll figure out if it's white or yellow.
Most like LED stuff should be white, unless for some reason you have a white, like a yellow LED, or maybe like the filter, like the casing around the LED is yellow or whatever. But most LEDs should be white.
Yeah,
so that would be good.
From what I'm looking at right now in my lamp, it's like a Philips. So I don't know if that means anything.
I don't even know what mine is called. I totally forgot.
It's a Philips.
That's the brand, so yeah. That'll help you guys out there.
It's a
Definitely.
gray one.
So, our next little tip here is watch your own videos back multiple times before uploading them and be kind of critical about them. So, I think it's always should be the case that you're your biggest critic. I'm very guilty of this, I guess. It's not really a crime, but like I do this a ton. So, and I don't think it's necessarily
Don't over criticize.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a good thing at like the amount I do it, and I guess it's kind of like I don't know. But you shouldn't just like edit it and then just upload it and say, "All right, we're good to go," because you will miss stuff, and it's happened to all of us. Pretty much if you go through the one time through, 90% of the time, there's something in there that can be fixed. So you should be going over your editing stuff like once, twice, 3 times even. And then even when you're done with like in your editor and you save it, it should be something that you need to look back at as the save file too. There's always ways you can improve, and you should always be able to go the extra mile.
Yeah,
Also-
going along to that, like, a lot of times I am, like, legit the first viewer of my own video because I will, like, watch it back on YouTube after
Yes.
it's uploaded.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the first time. So, like,
First-
unless it's a super long video, but, like, I'll watch it back on the YouTube page. So, like, I'm the first viewer. If you see, like, one view when you come to my video, that was probably me.
So, wait, can I add something? So, when I
Yeah.
actually typed watch your own videos, you know, that line on the show notes, what I was thinking also, like, that is very true, but what I was going for more is that when I, like, a lot of times, I see people who upload videos who are new to YouTube and stuff, and a lot of times, you know, of course it's not going to be the best quality or anything, but you need to think to yourself, and when I even look back at my own videos, this is true, think to yourself while you're watching it, who would want to see this? And, well, first think, would anybody want to see this, actually? Yeah, think, would anybody want to see this video? And if the answer is no, even if you're sort of on the fence about it, if it might be no, it might be best not to upload it. Because if, like, any video could be somebody's first impression of you. And if it's something where you're just saying through it the entire time, and there are a bunch of boring pauses, and then you're just like,
Or you don't have
"Yeah,
your
so
shirt
I like
on."
this cube, thanks for watching." Put on clothes too, kids.
Nobody's gonna get that.
It's fine. It's funny anyway.
Yeah, so, like, if you have a boring video, and then it's just like, yeah, so the cheap Pyramix is good, buy it, thanks for watching, bye, then, don't upload that. I'm gonna be honest.
And while
don't
we're on this
upload that.
topic, that's actually one of the other topics like that we put as one of our other tips, which is avoid unnecessary videos like update videos.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
so
guilty of this. I was definitely guilty of this. I made like a
way
few
too
update
guilty.
videos. Yeah. Try not to do that unless it's really, really important. Like when Adam and DG announced the Dlsone podcast, I think they made a separate video. Although Adam's was pretty interesting. Anyway, yeah, try.
Hey!
In general, try to avoid any videos like that. Don't be like, oh, update, my diet to my 2 corners
Derpy.
snapped. Derpy. He didn't actually make a video like that, but don't do that.
So, I think if you watch it back and you're just like, this is not really that good, and then it's probably really not that good. So, that's really harsh. That's really harsh, but
Yeah.
you should be okay with your own
Yeah.
video, and your level of your I guess your bar for success, or I guess you could call it like that, should adjust with what you're using. So like if you're just first starting out, you shouldn't be like, my videos have to be as good as Crazy Bad Cuber. You should say, I'm going to try to make something quality for what I have right now, you know?
So they should be like, my videos should be as good as the Rubik's Cubes.
I need
I'm
some
sorry,
ice.
that was a low blow.
I need some ice. I need some ice.
It
All right,
was.
no. Yeah,
Keep
no.
going, keep
But
going, sorry.
you should, your bar should adjust. So like, you shouldn't expect too much, but you shouldn't be too lenient on it either. I mean, a good way to think about it is like a school project.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if you're doing something for a school project, you got to put in the effort to do it, or else the teacher will give you a bad grade. You got to follow all the requirements, and the requirements is to be interesting, I guess, on YouTube, and give all the information you need to. Then you don't get a good grade, stuff like that. So just do your research, put in time and effort into it, and if you watch it back and it's not good and it's clear that you didn't do that, then don't upload that.
Yes,
I actually have
agreed.
a story / comment about this too. I'm like on top of this. I relate to everything.
Yeah.
In terms of the growing topic there, I don't know if any of you noticed, but in August I released a setup tour video. That video is no longer on YouTube for the reason that it was absolutely horrible. I had to make it 2 parts because I totally forgot to include the drawers. Didn't bother editing it, I don't think. And it was like just really disorganized in general. So that's no longer on YouTube. Like, that's the growth thing where it's like, back then I thought it was okay, but then I watched it back now and it was like, this is horrible. I can't put this on YouTube.
Well,
I can't keep this
yeah,
here.
it's kind of funny. So many times, like say I have like I think I had like 222 videos up a while back, and that was the amount that I had on YouTube. So people were like, congrats on, or like when I hit 200 or something, they were like, congrats on 200 videos. And I'm kind of weirded out because then I look at my video manager and it's like, I have 250. Because I have a solid 50 or so private videos that I don't want anybody seeing because they're so
like,
bad.
I have like 20 of those, 20 or 30 of those. So it's like, it's all about, don't be afraid to take down a video too if you're not too proud of it. You shouldn't leave it up there just because you feel like it would be embarrassing to take it down. We all did this at one point in time, except for maybe Ava because she doesn't have any.
No, I was a camel.
Okay. Yes, she was a camel.
Ava was a camel, yes. I actually have yet to do this, for the reason that I already had an HD camera when I started, unlike somebody here.
Fine then.
As you go along, be critical of your own videos. I guess in the summary, this point was very long, but overall, just be critical of your videos, and make sure that they're interesting and you put effort into them. Otherwise, other people are not going to want to see it if you didn't put any effort into it. So, anyway, moving right along to the next point here.
This relates sort of to equipment because when you're first starting out, you don't want to look for the best equipment or like the highest end equipment because you want to give yourself leg room to develop your channel.
Leg room?
Yeah, so
Sorry.
if you have to start somewhere, and that shouldn't be like buying the most expensive equipment for your channel. Like, that's part of developing. You have to upgrade your equipment if need be, but you shouldn't do that from the beginning.
Yeah, I think there's a learning curve with everything too, so that's a good point.
Okay, this is something that Chris also said in his seminar, but try to make every video better than your last. So, like, try something new, find your weaknesses, and improve upon them.
Yeah. Good
And
point.
take feedback from viewers.
Yeah, take feedback from viewers, yeah. So, you
And that
should-
might seem really obvious, but, like, really take it into, like, if someone says, oh, your intro music is too loud, listen to it and be like, okay, like, improve that next time.
I think something that a lot of people don't really realize is that when the people are commenting on your videos, that's everybody. Like, that's all the people. Like, sometimes it's like you're in your own little world and you do things that you think will improve the video, but it's really, the video is for the viewers. So you should take into account the viewers. And I'm definitely guilty of forgetting every once in a while about this. Like, it's very easy to get stuck in your own little world and say, oh, next video I'll have to do this. But you have to take into account what other people say as well.
Wait, but stick to majority, too. Because you have a lot of varying opinions, but if it's overwhelming for, like, one thing, and there's, like, one guy in the corner who's, like, has a different opinion, like, sorry, but you're trying to appeal to as many people as possible. If there's one person who just happens to have this little, like, quirk of a problem, don't follow that.
Well, yeah, well,
because, like, there was one guy who was, like, because, like, there's a lot, like, for example, for unboxings, like there's a bunch of people who, like most people, really like just get the unboxing part out of the way and get straight to actually turning the cube. But I had like one single person on my unboxing say, show the actual ripping apart of the package more. And I was like, look, maybe you like that, but there's all these other people who do not want to see that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
and-
like that.
Yeah. Some people.
I mean,
like it,
I
some
show
people
the
don't,
ripping
but-
apart, but like he wants me to like show the full video of me struggling with
But
pulling
here's the
apart the
thing.
package.
Here's the thing. You
He or she.
definitely. That's a good example of something. Like, you definitely can't please everybody, right? So
Yeah.
I think practical solutions are the best answers. Nothing is black and white. There's always a gray area. So if you can find a solution somewhere in the middle between the two arguments, then that's probably going to be the best option. So don't ignore people, and don't.
Okay, don't flat out ignore, but like sometimes
Yeah.
you might.
Yeah, no, I
actually
know.
end up
I know what you're
ignoring
trying to
someone,
say,
but
Allison.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I know you weren't meaning like ignore the minority.
Yeah,
obviously.
don't
Take-
ignore everyone.
Take into account what everybody says. It's just
Ignore
have
the
to- you have to-
minorities.
you just have to.
Okay, if the
you just have to
minority is
be
one
aware-
person versus like 100 people, then basically ignore
Just-
the
just
minorities.
be
But if the
aware-
minority is like 49 people to 51, then
Yeah.
definitely take that into
just
account.
just be aware of what people want. Just be aware of what people want. Like don't.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think enough has been
Yeah.
said about that. But yeah. So the next tip, particularly it pertains to me, as you can just hear from my speaking, and that's ums and pauses. So I am not a good public speaker. I'm not very eloquent because I take a lot of time to think about what I'm going to say before I say it, and then when I finally get something out, I like say it very quickly in short bursts. So that leads to a lot of the ums and the pauses, and I've had to deal with them in my editing and stuff like that. And right there, that long "and" is the most annoying thing to deal with. So I think it's important to not try to get rid of those as much as possible, because that's how you speak, you know? But it should be limited. So if I'm trying to think of what to say next, I'm going, you shouldn't have that. But if I'm just speaking, I go, like this and like that, and then that's okay to have. You don't have to go crazy with it. I see a lot of people that cut out like those tiny little parts. You don't have to.
Yeah, on that note, like, I think try, if you're not sure, if you're on the fence, try cutting it out, and if you play it back and it sounds like a robot just got, like, stabbed and then revived and kept talking, like...
I know what you're saying. It is weird, yeah. It is weird.
Yeah,
when you
it's
cut it
gonna
out.
sound really weird. It's gonna be like someone just shoved you out of the way mid, like, sentence and then pulled you back and you
Yes.
continued right from where you left off.
Yes.
If it
Yeah.
sounds like that, please put it back in because no one wants to hear that.
Yeah, my point of this tip right here is that you hear everybody all the time saying to stop saying ums and uhs and stuff like that and cut them out of your speech. It's definitely something to work on, but you don't go crazy with it, right? So you shouldn't go crazy with it. And
Yeah.
don't change the way you speak just because of what somebody else says about ums and uhs being bad and good.
I mean, it's something you want to work on physically, like in real life, work on your real speaking, but don't work on it by cutting them out and editing. That's not how you work on reducing the ums and uhs. I mean, unless, like Adam said, you have an entire that's just alone and it's just an and
Yeah.
when you cut it out, it doesn't sound any different.
And can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so for reviews and things like that, especially reviews, well, there's one of those, and dang. So for reviews, you should have a lot, well, not a lot scripted. You can script it or you can have points made out ahead of time. That's pretty much what you should do for reviews. You should know what you're gonna say, because if you're making a review and then at the end you're thinking to yourself, you're thinking, so do I give this cube a score out of 10, or do I say how many stars I give it, or do I say a recommendation, and then, okay, so then you go with a score out of 10, and then you're like, okay, so should I go 9.7, or like 8.2, or 1.3, and then that entire time that you're thinking that, you're just saying, you shouldn't do that. You should have your general idea for what you're going to do for a review, especially. You should have that laid out in front of you, so you don't come to writer's blocks or speaker's blocks like that.
Yeah.
Where you don't know what you're
Yeah.
gonna say.
I think
because that's not good.
the only video where you would basically have no ums or uhs or pauses should be a review because, well, okay, it depends on how you
Yeah,
do your
yeah, I was
reviews.
just
If
about-
you do
yeah.
your
Yeah.
reviews in a voiceover style, there shouldn't be any because if you screw it up, just repeat it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
That
'Cause
only-
if you're just
Yeah.
doing a voiceover.
That only applies to like cursory style reviews, like a lot of
Yeah, that's what
us
I was
do,
saying.
right?
Yeah.
Like cursory voiceover reviews,
Yeah.
then don't have any ums or uhs. But if you do like, I guess CBC style without the script or anything, then I mean ums are fine because that's part
Yeah.
of the speech.
I think that's another good tip also. Like, don't necessarily do one style of video just because everybody else does it. So.
Yeah.
And I think to a degree we're all guilty of this, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. But yeah. That's something to consider.
Okay. So do you want to move on to who did what?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
Adam, you explain this because it's your game.
Sure. Okay, so that tip section, I hope that helped you out for anybody who is trying to start up a new YouTube channel or anything. If you have any other questions regarding that kind of stuff, you can leave them down below. We'll be more than happy to answer your question. That was very long and drawn out. It wasn't really that direct. So if you need explanations or further clarifications on anything, also leave that down below, and we will be more than happy to answer that as well. So moving right along here, we're going to go on to the next activity, which is the game called Who Did What? So this is a new game that we're going to be starting, and let us know down below if you like it or not. So the basics of the game is that there are 4 hosts right here right now. One of them will be the guesser, and in this case it will be Ava, and Ava will be guessing who did what. So DG, Allison, and I all wrote down embarrassing / funny / I don't know, quirky stories that have happened to us in the past. And Ava has no idea who did what or who wrote what. So her job is to read off those comments and guess who did what.
And all these stories
So
are
let's
in the
get
show
started.
notes. So if you guys want to follow along with anything in this podcast, everything is in the show notes. So just head over there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so Ava, you can read them then.
And in order to
Oh,
make
how
it a
was-
little bit more difficult of a challenge and also make it funnier, most of them will not be cubing related. However, it can be if the writer chooses it to be. But I think the ones that we have right now are not cubing related.
Okay, here's the first one. While on vacation in an undisclosed location, I was putting on sunscreen having already been burned. It was pretty painful, so I was cringing a bit. A random guy wearing a crossing guard vest walked up to me and said in a mockingly sympathetic voice, "Oh, he/she is afraid of the sunscreen. Aw, poor little boy/girl." Should I read all of them and
Yeah,
then
read
guess?
all first.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the second one. When I was younger, I was curious about electrical outlets and how they worked, so I stuck my thumb in a socket and electrocuted myself. And the last one. I once stayed at the capital of Michigan. I once stayed at the capital of Michigan with Singapore.
Okay, so now Ava, it is up to you to decide who did what.
Okay. I'm pretty sure the last one someone said, but I don't remember who said it.
So helpful, Ava. So helpful.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's DG, then Adam, then Allison.
From what order?
Wait, can you say what it is?
The
Because I
first,
think people might.
yeah, the vacation one was DG. The second, the outlet one was Adam, and the third one, the Michigan one was Allison.
You got 1 out of 3.
Yeah,
You
so
got
1 out
me.
of 3. Adam, you can go through them and explain what they are.
I did stick my thumb in an electrical socket and execute myself.
Yes.
Execute.
However, the
Electrocute
other two are
myself.
switched around.
Execute.
Hey,
Oh my
I
god.
executed myself. And there you go. There's the show title. Adam executed himself.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yes.
No, and I stuck my thumb in an electrical outlet and did electrocute myself when I was younger.
Okay. And now Allison was the vacation story.
Okay, so this one's a little confusing because I
And,
couldn't remember exactly what the guy said. But I was in Italy. I said undisclosed because I might have told you where I've gone on vacation at some point, so I didn't want to say Italy because
Yeah.
maybe you might have known that I went there one time.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't think DG has been to
Yeah.
Italy.
So
No, I've never been out of the country.
yeah. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Never been
that's
out
why I
of the
said
time
undisclosed. So while I was in Italy, like it's weird because like the guy should have been like most people would be speaking in Italian, but I guess I was just like standing there on like the side of the road by a bus stop, and this random guy just walks up and he's like, I wasn't even like crying or anything. I was just like kind of like cringing. And he goes, "Oh, she's like crying over the sunscreen. Oh, that poor little girl." I was like, "What? What?" I like walked by. I was like, what? "Excuse me." It was really confusing.
Okay, and now for the Michigan one. So yes, I once stated that the capital of Michigan is Singapore.
I am
And,
very disappointed in you, DT, as a geography.
Can
buff.
I at least explain why? Can I explain why?
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that now.
Yeah. I'll explain for the
I
people who
remember
don't
Adam's
remember.
electrocuted story.
I don't.
Yeah, I remember that too. So anyway, what happened was I was on the bus one morning, and so my friend Justin, who he was on my channel like once or twice back in the day, we were all participating in like this geography bee just because we had to. I'm not good at geography, but we had to do it anyway. And so on the bus, it was me, my friend Justin, and my friend Richard, and we were like quizzing each other on geography stuff, to prepare for it and all that. And so I wasn't getting any of them because I just couldn't think fast enough, and also I'm not that good at geography. So sometimes there would be ones I would know, but I couldn't get them because the other person would say it too quickly, and it was so annoying. So then they were like, "What's the capital of Michigan?" So I had to get it out. So I was like, "Singapore." And see, the thing is, it's Lansing. That's where the sing came from, but it is not Singapore.
Not Singapore.
It is definitely not Singapore.
All right, so that's like I think that was pretty fun. But let us know if you have any embarrassing stories of yourself that you want to share, because that would be fun in the comment section to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know if you want us to do that in the future, because that would be a good like mini series for every single podcast. Anyway, moving right along here, what do we have next?
Cubing in the news.
Cubing in the news.
Yes.
with
I'm
DG.
excited for this one.
This is I think our favorite segment. It's my favorite segment. I think a lot of our favorite segments, and I think a lot of you guys really enjoyed the last article as well. This one, unfortunately, is not quite as
Yeah.
bad, I don't think, but it's still pretty bad.
If you didn't have your eye on the slight 14-year-old in the busy high school cafeteria, you might have missed seeing the world record-setting feat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and before he even hit the 5-second mark, he was finished. He had just worked a Rubik's Cube in the fastest time known to man.
Oh, I was working
Okay,
the
who's
field,
next on
like
the
I
show
just
notes?
worked this Rubik's Cube.
Ava.
I don't
Ava,
even
you're
remember
next.
jumping. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember jumping up. Lucas Etter said of the excitement after his feat on November 21st in Clarksville, Maryland. The time on the clock
yeah.
said 4.904, a record, as Etter was surrounded by cheer Rubik's Cube fans.
Okay, Allison.
The Lexington, Kentucky youth has traveled across the country to enter Rubik's Cube competition since he was 9 years old. In his first competition in 2011, his best attempt was 24.11 seconds, an astonishing pace for a mere mortal to align every colored box on the complicated course. But far from the elite competitive best. Oh man, us mere
I like how they
mortals
call
aligning those
stickers
colorful
colored
boxes.
boxes.
Mere mortal.
Mere mortal.
Okay, Adam.
Before last weekend's competition in Maryland, his best time at a competition was 5.85 seconds.
You can read the next one. That one was
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
The Rubik's Cube record is made to be broken. In fact, since Mitsuki, I don't want to say this, set a world record at 7.03 seconds in Japan in 2012, it has been broken 99 times. Before last weekend, competitors from Asia to Europe to Australia, many of them not as far from Lucas Etter's age, had chipped it all the way down to 5.25 seconds.
Okay,
Are
wait,
you
can I
serious?
explain why they
99
thought
times?
this? Because I figured it out a while ago. About the 703. So, a lot of you might know that 703 was never, well, Felix might have had that once, I think. I don't know, after the 708. I don't know, but it was never the record by Mitsuki Gunji, or however you pronounce his name, in 2012, because by 2012 it was already 566. And so I was quite confused. So I went to this guy's WCA page. It actually was NR at the time, but it turns out that just happens to be a coincidence, because what this article writer did was they went to the results page on the WCA, and without even clicking all results or anything like that, they just assumed there were only 100 or whatever. They scrolled down to the bottom and saw, because the default is 100 results for the 3x3 single, and they saw this guy who they assumed had the first world record, and then they just scrolled up to see the latest one, which, okay, if you look at the dates of the competitions, they go from 2011 to 2015, and not in that order. So, just saying, you could do a little better than that.
Yeah.
It was not broken 99 times. It's been broken like 4 since then.
Yeah, not great research there. Not as bad as the previous cubing in the news, but still not very impressive.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty bad.
So I'll read the next 2 because they're both short. Okay, so I'll read the next 2 because they're short. In the November 21st competition, Keaton Ellis lowered the mark again, tackling his cube in 5.09 seconds. But then Eder turned to his cube.
I just imagine a cube on the table, this guy like diving at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, I can do that too, I can break the world record. I'm gonna turn to my cube and do this.
So, it's like, huh.
But then, but then Eder turned to his cube. As the rules allow, he studied it, knowing the timer would start only when he began twisting.
Oh, really? So if
idea.
I'm just inspecting, I start turning, the timer's automatically gonna start. Because in the video, he definitely
now,
didn't
this
go.
is a very good paragraph too. Ava, you're so lucky you get to read this.
He said he made a lucky choice in those 4.9 seconds. He always works first the bottom layer of the 3x3 cube, then the middle, then the top. He had a choice of algorithms for solving the middle layer and happened to pick one that turned out to save him a step on top, a step that might have taken him an entire second.
Yeah.
Okay, I really doubt
okay.
Lucas said this, or maybe it was really simplified. I'd say I get one of those.
I think he said this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is feasible. Although
it's something you would say to a non-cuber, knowing that they wouldn't understand if you just said, I got a PLL skip.
Yeah. I'd say I get one of those at every 25 solves. Wait, 25? Is that right? I guess so.
Well, it's technically 1 in 72, but he probably knows ZBLL,
right,
some ZBLL,
right, yeah.
and like COLL, all that stuff.
That's what I was just thinking. The pieces fall into where they need to be, Eder said. Does Adam want to finish?
Okay, Adam, you can take the last one, I guess.
Oh boy. At the Maryland contest, Eder also solved the 2x2 cube. I just want to say, they spelled 2x2 TWO-BY-TWO.
The 2x2.
2x2 cube in 1.6 seconds. He averages 1.51.
No, that's not true at all.
And does it and has done it in less than a second before. He averages 1.51 seconds. That's really impressive. Yeah. Okay. And the 4x4 cube, spelt again by writing out 4, in nearly 30 seconds. Nothing's wrong with that one, but oh my god, the average is.
He doesn't average
151.
151. That was one of his averages. If he averages 151, then he's pretty dang good.
That's like saying Derpy has a sub 2 average of 5, which means he's sub 2 now. 2x2. I have a sub 10 average of 5, so I'm sub 10 now. On 3x3.
Yeah, I have an 1192 average in comp on 3x3, so I'm sub 12, Maybe in comp I am,
Yeah, in
though.
comp, like, DG is sub 12.
Okay, so that's cubing in the news for this episode. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any news articles that you want to submit, I try to stay on top of cubing in the news because I find it hilarious, but if you have any from a while ago or recent, feel free to leave it in the comments and maybe we'll use it and we'll say, your username or whatever that you submitted it to us if we use it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought of that part of the episode.
So, as we mentioned in episode 1 of this podcast, we would be bringing on some guests later on down the road. So, next episode, we actually do have a guest planned. So the reason we didn't put him in this video, or this episode, sorry, was because we wanted to be able to announce it so that you guys can ask some questions. So definitely do that in the comments. So, are you ready to hear this?
Yes.
Drum roll, please. The next guest is the cubologist, or Damien. So, if you guys don't know who the cubologist is, which I can't imagine why, go check him out. We'll leave a link to his channel in the show notes. But
yeah, we're really excited to have him on.
Yeah, we're really excited to have him on. If you don't know, he does some like really high quality stuff. He has like a DSLR now, and he's doing some really awesome cinematic stuff. So, and his channel has been growing like crazy. So we're really excited to get him on here and talk about some of those YouTube topics that we were discussing in the first episode. So again, ask him questions in the comments, anything specific you want to know. Also, not just him, because we're the hosts and we kind of want to participate in it too.
Dum 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 dum.
Tier. But yeah, just
So
ask us
world.
questions, ask Damien questions. You know, just ask a lot of questions this time, because last time we asked you to suggest
know his
some
name.
topics, and clearly we did not do a good job of asking you that, because we had like one person suggest one topic. So
Yeah.
please
Suggest
this time,
topics.
take it seriously. Ask questions and suggest topics, unless you want a really sucky episode
Yeah.
next time, because
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
not-
have
look.
nothing to talk about.
Like this one.
Yeah, like this one. We had no idea what we were doing. We're like, you know what? Let's just do tips for starting a new channel.
No, wait. Can I tell you something though? Can I give these guys a sneak peek?
Yeah.
We made the show notes about 7 minutes before we started filming or recording.
Yeah, no,
so-
guys.
Yeah.
If you don't suggest,
We'll try not to
ideas,
do that
we're-
again.
We're not gonna have anything to post. So please, if you have any idea, no matter how small it is, please post it. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dlsone Podcast. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down below in the comments, and we'll be sure to answer them.
Okay, bye.